First you start with 3 pounds of sweet rice. Empty rice into a bowl and rinse under cold water until the water is clear. This may take a few minutes. Okay, now notice the water is fairly clear. Now you can dump it into a bowl and soak the rice for 8 hours. Okay, cover the rice with water. Make sure you use plenty of water because it will be absorbed. And let it soak for about 8 hours. If your rice is older, you might have to soak it maybe for another hour or 2. It's been about 30 minutes, and as you can see, the water has already been absorbed into the rice, so it's time to add a little more water and ensure that the rice is completely covered. Continue to soak until the 8 hours is completed. After 8 hours of soaking, you drain the rice by pouring it into a colander. Then you let it drain for 15 minutes. You need your rice completely drained, and it's good to do it in a metal colander because the metal colander helps to drain better. Okay, while we're waiting for the rice to drain, we can now add 2 cups of water to the machine. This will be used for steaming the rice. And this is 400 milliliters of water. And then we put the pot in. This will hold the rice. And then we will put the impeller in. This impeller is what pounds the rice. Okay, now that the rice is drained about 15 minutes and that we've tapped off all the water from the strainer, we add the rice to the mochi machine. Remember, this is about 3 pounds of washed and soaked rice. And in the bottom, we added the 400 milliliters of water. It'll steam. This machine steams for about 39 minutes on the soft mode, and then it'll pound the mochi for about 12 minutes. So, we put the rice in the machine, we level it out. Level the rice out. Then we'll close the lid and we'll turn the machine on. I'm not going to go into detail showing you how we turn the machine on, since each machine operates differently. Okay, now we'll turn it on to the soft mode, and like I said, we'll let it steam for about 39 minutes and then pound the mochi for about 12. Here it is, the rice being pounded after it's steamed for 39 or so minutes. It'll continue to pound for about 12 minutes. Okay, notice now the rice has been pounding for about 10 minutes and it is much smoother now. It'll continue to get smoother as it's pounding. For those of you who want to make Daifuku mochi or ohagi, or some of the other confections that require red beans, for example, obanyaki or dorayaki. You can buy the red beans already prepared They can come in a can, or you can buy them in this plastic bag in the refrigerated section where they're already cooked, prepared, mashed, and sweetened. Or you can buy just the red beans. That's probably the least expensive, where you just have to cook them in sugar and water for several hours until they're soft. By the way, you'll find these at your Japanese or Chinese or Korean food markets. The brands will vary depending upon what type of market it is. Okay, now while the rice is pounding and just a few minutes we're ready to start making some of the mochi, what I've done is I've taken a cookie sheet. I've lined it with non-stick aluminum foil. It's really important to use non-stick aluminum foil. If you use regular aluminum foil, the foil will stick to the rice. To also help keep it from sticking, we use potato starch. And we sprinkle that liberally all over the foil. We'll also use this on our hands to keep the pounded rice, mochi rice, from sticking to our hands. And we'll also put it into the container, which we are going to use to store our mochi cakes after they're done, the rice cakes. So, like I said, the potato starch is used to keep it from sticking. I've also prepared in advance some red bean so we can make some Daifuku, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Okay, the rice is done being pounded. We now have to pour the rice out onto the prepared tray. Ouch, it's hot. Very hot. We'll also have to get the impeller out that was pounding the rice. It's easier to take it out now. Notice how sticky the rice is, and it comes right out of this non-stick bowl. Okay. I'm using a rice paddle, or what Japanese call a shomoji, to get the rice out so I don't get it all over my hands initially. Okay. Now to make a mochi, we have to coat our hands in the rice flour. Grab a small amount of mochi. Notice how you still have to rub a little of the potato starch on your hands. And what I like to do, I don't know what the correct technique is, but I like to just keep on pushing the mochi till we form a round ball. And then dust it in the powder and potato starch. And here's the Japanese mochi cake. Now to make a Daifuku, which is the mochi with the red bean on the inside. Again, I'm not a professional, so I don't know the correct procedure, but this is the way I've figured it out that it works best. I stretch out a piece of mochi, and then I put the piece of red bean in, and then I slowly fold the mochi up and over. Twist it a little bit to seal it, and then round. Ooh, I made this one a little big. I won't make the next one so big. I'm gonna try one more. Okay, from time to time you gotta put your hands into the potato starch. Break off a small amount of rice. And what I do is I kind of take it and push it through so that way I get fresh, soft mochi on the outside. That way when I go to seal it, it is nice and sticky. Okay. Spreading it out. It's a little bit better. try and get it nice and even. Okay, take another piece of red bean, put it in, and then pull the mochi, the rice up and over, and seal it. Roll it in the, oops, we got a little bit of there. Roll it around in the potato starch. Try and make it as round as you can, and nice and flat. And there you go, a nice Daifuku mochi.